Hello! Welcome to my newest Let's Play, Star Trek Resurgence. So I am a big Star Trek fan. I always have been, ever since Next Generation. That show debuted when I was like 2 years old. Some of my very earliest memories are of watching Star Trek Next Generation. The show I grew up on. Always going to have a soft spot in my heart because of that. I'm a fan of just about all the Star Trek out there, really. I'll admit, I have not watched Enterprise. That is the one Star Trek series that I have yet to watch. I will get around to it at some point. For sure. It is something I am going to watch. I just haven't yet. Also, I don't care for the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies. Those are bad movies. And bad Star Trek. But anyway. Star Trek Resurgence. This is a brand new game. Yeah, subtitles should be on. Turn the music volume down just a little bit. It doesn't really sound all that loud right now. But, we'll keep... Oops, sound effect volume's fine. But I will keep the music volume at sort of a minimum or medium level. Just so that you can hear me over it, and that we can hear the dialogue over it. So, there have been a lot of Star Trek video games over the years. A lot of them have had a focus on space combat. That's sort of been the big focus for a lot of the Star Trek games over the years. There have been some sort of story-driven ones, but even those had a fair focus on combat. And then there's Star Trek Online, which is very much focused on space and ground combat, and is also ridiculously overpriced. Free to play, but if you want to get any special ships or anything, yeah, it's ridiculous how much that game charges for everything. This game is very much narrative-driven and this is something I might check out later. Wonder if this might just be like a sort of like how many players chose which choices. So yeah, this is all about choices that you make. It is as far as I know, there's no real combat in it. There's no actual combat. It is pretty much entirely dialogue driven. I believe it's sort of kind of comparable in concept to like some of those Walking Dead games. That kind of yeah, that kind of just rather than fighting, it's just making choices, and then everything plays out on the through the choices you make. This is one that I am going in completely blind, or almost completely blind. I've watched a couple of trailers. Watched some early gameplay footage, that sort of thing. So I know a little bit about it, but I'm going in almost completely blind, which I don't normally like to do. I do find the most interesting Let's Plays are the ones that have all sorts of detailed information and trivia and all that. But it's fine. So yeah, let us get into... Yeah, this I'll play later. I'll play the credits later. At the end of the game. It's where credits normally go. Yeah, you see, it doesn't even, like, show, like, when you come in here, it doesn't even have, like, game controls. It's, yeah, because there are none. There basically are no game controls. Alright, so let's get into it. I suppose before I start, I may as well mention something here. This game basically has two main characters. Two playable, or not two main characters, two playable characters that you switch back and forth between. Both, I think one human and one, I believe might be Bajoran, maybe? Not sure. I think the other one isn't human, but yeah. Kezia Bajos plays Jara, and Josh Keaton plays Carter. I believe those are the two main characters. Empty slot. Let us begin. In space. The final frontier, you know. Relationships and events you are about to experience will be shaped by the choices you make.
Captain's log, stardate 57931.4. The crew is restless. After spending too many months piecing our ship back together, we're finally about to venture out on a new mission. And the crew isn't letting this unprecedented ion storm slow them down. They're ready for something different. I know I am. Perhaps more than any of them.
Very Star Trek credits.
Fortunately, nothing ever stays the same. It's entropy, the nature of the universe. Change is inevitable. And while entropy says order gives way to chaos, in this case, change is good.
I suppose it could be a little bit more Star Trek.
Our new first officer is en route to the Resolute. Jara Rydek. I know she'll bring a welcome dose of new blood to the crew.
So not Bajoran. Not sure what race she is. What species, I should say.
Thanks.
No problem.
I'm not great with flying. But these little shuttles are the worst.
Stick around in Starfleet and you'll be sure to see worse than this. I have.
And you're here to talk about it.
In the flesh.
That's good.
Crew is impacted by the things you say.
Sorry, I'm a little anxious.
I hadn't noticed.
I'm on my way to my first assignment. When we get to the starbase, I'm transferring on to the Resolute.
So am I.
It won't be easy for Jara to step in at the 11th hour like this. But if she's half the officer I knew she could become when she was a cadet at Starfleet Academy, she'll be the XO this ship needs right now.
Limited time to make choices, so you gotta be kind of quick. You gotta pay attention. I do love Starfleet. I do love Star Trek ship designs. Change of station. Ooh. That is a very Star Trek font choice for that. Check in at security. So I believe that Jara here, as I said, voiced by Crazy Abajos. I believe she is part Bolian, I think. I'm not really used to gaming on the computer, so...
A starbase on the very edge of Federation space. Long way from home now.
Nice view. Very pretty. So yeah, I'm not really used to gaming on the computer, so you'll have to forgive me.
Commander? I'm not usually such a nervous wreck, by the way. I actually did well at the Academy.
Oh yeah?
Maybe you've heard of the Torvalin test?
Sounds familiar.
It's a tactical simulator that makes the Kobayashi Maru look like a picnic on Pintaris 5. Anyway, I finished in the top 20. Not just in my class. I mean, all time. In the history of the Academy. So, there's that.
Really? That's quite impressive.
I'll be generous.
Thank you. It was tough. But you know, I set my mind to it and it paid off.
Please place your hand here. Hold it there for a few seconds.
I haven't looked up the full voice cast. If any of them...
Welcome, Commander Rydek.
Wait,
Cabal
you're
yet.
Jara Rydek? You absolutely crushed the Torvalin test. You finished in what, like the top 3?
That would be me.
Now I'm really... It's an honor to meet you, Commander. Sorry, I didn't realize before. I just came off the shuttle and was glad to be on solid ground, so to speak.
The pleasure is mine, Ensign.
Paul Calloway.
Good to meet you.
I believe Commander Ermot is expecting you. He's in the concourse just ahead.
See you on the Resolute.
See, I haven't looked up like the full voice cast or anything. So if there's any voices that sound familiar, I will try to mention them. There is one voice actor who I do know. I'll admit, like, I'm just looking at the voice cast now, and I'll admit, most of them I am not really familiar with. There is going to be one character voiced by someone that I am familiar with. Whenever that character pops up, I guess I'll mention. Anyway, yeah, you can't even... As far as I know, there isn't even a run option, which makes sense.
Good day, Commander.
Thank you. Torvalin test I'm not familiar with. I haven't heard of that before. The Kobayashi Maru, obviously, that is a nod to a pretty classic bit of Star Trek lore. Going all the way back, I think, to the original series. I don't remember if it was mentioned in the original series or if it's just one of the movies that brought it up. But, yeah, that one goes back, to a long time. And yeah, so we actually saw a little bit of description, so I guess she's actually part Kobliad. They are from... DS9 episode, it looks like. Yeah, they debuted an episode of Deep Space Nine, which I don't think I've actually... I don't remember this one. I don't know. First episode, or first season episode of Deep Space Nine. So, yeah, there you go.
If I remember my briefing, Commander Ermot is a Bolian, so I'm looking for someone with blue skin.
You're going to the Resolute too?
Yeah, not the ship I was hoping for.
Why's that?
Well, you haven't heard? Some kind of accident. Their warp core overloaded.
Oh, whoa. That's a big deal.
I spent 6 months fixing it up.
What happens every
Is it the
week
captain's
on
fault?
That's the
shows?
rumor, yeah.
Warp core overloads happen all the time. Nice one, this laptop isn't as responsive as I would like.
Starbase 128 has 4 docks.
Interesting, I guess. Oh, and I think that's going to be the dude over there. But let's wander a bit more first.
I'll replicate myself a meal once I'm on board. Excuse me, have you seen a Bolian around here?
Yes, sir. Right back there, near the replicator.
Ah, there he is. Thank you.
Happy to help, Commander.
Everyone's very polite to the person who outranks them. Feels like I can't move.
Excuse me.
There we go. I'm starting to feel like I couldn't move the mouse around while I was walking anymore. Weird. Commander Vermont.
Welcome to the edge of the galaxy, Commander Rydek. I'm Commander Jan Ermot, Operations Officer on the Resolute. Commander? I hope there wasn't too much trouble getting here. This storm isn't making anything easy for us right now. I know conditions are less than ideal at the moment.
It was perfectly fine. No trouble at all.
I'm glad to hear it.
No sense.
We're grateful
Complaining?
you were able to come fill our first officer vacancy at such short notice. From everything I've read and everything I've heard, we're lucky you were available to us. Coming from a premier starship and all. To our little research vessel.
What exactly have you heard about me?
First in your class at the Academy. Received the Starfleet Award of Valor during the Dominion War. Most recently, Tactical Officer and Chief of Security on the USS Endeavor.
You've done your homework.
Like I said, we're very lucky.
Endeavor does sound very impressive, actually. Lovely ship.
The USS Resolute. She may not look like much compared to the bigger ships, but as far as science vessels go, she can more than hold her own. And she doesn't look so bad considering 6 months ago she was nearly cracked in half venting plasma fighting for her life.
Indeed.
It was an accident?
Equipment malfunction. An accident suggests fault, but no one's to blame. It was a planned test, but the warp core was pushed beyond its limits. It destabilized the dilithium, there was a runaway reaction, and the warp bubble deformed. We thought we could reach a higher resonant frequency, but it was more than she could handle.
Aw.
Cost us our first officer and 22 of our crew.
Oof. That's rough.
At the end of the day, we're all responsible for each other. That's what it means to be a crew.
I can't even begin to imagine what that must have been like for you. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. It does weigh heavy. There are some things you can't forget.
Did you lose anyone close to you?
Seems
Too
impolite
many.
to ask.
And to that, I'll just say, you have big shoes to fill.
Seems like an impolite thing to ask,
Listen.
honestly, but
I realize you've known Captain Solano for quite some time, and I'm sure you're ready to bring your best. But I should warn you that when the captain announced you would be the new first officer, there were those who felt it was a mistake, that he should have promoted from within. So you might want to tread lightly at first. Until they come to value your contributions as much as he does.
Thank you. Always good to have a sense for what you're walking into.
I just thought you ought to know.
I appreciate it.
Starfleet has assigned us a high-priority mission to the Hotari region. I'll let the captain brief you on board.
hey. There. Jara made a good first impression with Commander Ermot, coming off as inquisitive and appreciative while showing empathy for what the crew of the Resolute suffered. Grateful for Jara's helpful guidance when he was nervous on the ship. Oh snap, there actually is going to be combat? I was not expecting that, to be honest. Which means I should probably get my, I do have a controller. Because I'm really not keen on using keyboard controls. That is not something I ever learned to do. Might make it easier for walking around too. Yeah, tricorder modes, okay. Right trigger to interact. Okay. Or the mouse. Okay. Tap right to crouch. Okay. Left trigger to leave cover. Take aim with. Hopefully, I will be able to remember all this. Damage 3 times, you'll fail the mission. So. Whew. If an ally dies, you fail the mission. Oof. Well, that's unfortunate to know. Okay. Explosives. Okay. This is more than I was expecting, honestly. Next, equip or holster your tricorder. Okay. Can't run or crouch. Makes sense. All right. Y for phaser. Okay. Cannot phaser your allies. That violates Starfleet regulations. That's hilarious. Oh, got to fly as well? That's concerning. Bumpers to ascend and descend. Well, this is all rather concerning, frankly. Right trigger to clear debris and select targets, okay? Well, this all sounds way more complicated than I was actually expecting. Uh-oh. Mild concern.
I know he's eager to see you.
Will we be mission ready in time?
We have every intention. The crew has been working around the clock to get the ship ready. There's still so much to do.
And here's our other character.
Stuck. I got just the thing.
Odium coupler, hyperspanner, interphasic coil spanner. I gotta love these names, Anyway, this is Carter, voiced by Josh Keaton. Who I believe might be sort of a notable guy. Not sure exactly what I'm supposed to be doing here. Like, genuinely, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing here. It doesn't really say. Oh. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, you can use mouse or joystick for this. I'm gonna use the mouse. It seems like a better choice. Anyway, Josh Keaton. Let me look up what Josh Keaton's done, because I feel like I've heard that name before. I feel like he's a pretty notable voice actor. Yep. Yeah, it certainly is. He's voiced Spider-Man in a few different things. He voiced Electro in the recent PS4 Spider-Man game. The adolescent Hercules in Hercules. Ryu Hayabusa in the console versions of Ninja Gaiden. Yeah, he's done quite a number of things. Yeah, just taking a look through, and yeah, he's been around for a while. Yeah, he voiced Spider-Man in the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon back in 2008. He's apparently done a few Scooby-Doo things here and there. A fair bit of DC stuff, actually. Oh, and actually, in the apparently in the oh yeah, that's Marvel Spider-Man series from 2017-2020. He voiced a fair number of characters, including Norman Osborn and the Green Goblin. Cyclops in X-Men Legends 2. That's probably where I first heard him, because I did like that game back in the day. Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, Night of Time. He played Spider-Man in both of those. Just a whole bunch of stuff in various of various importance. Yeah, Josh Keaton. He's been around for a long time. He's pretty notable. Yeah, that's kind of neat. Get him to do that yourself. Anyway, that thing looks bad. Yeah, that was in bad shape.
And that... is that.
The lower decks.
I thought that thing was totally fried.
Is she cute?
Nice work, Carter.
Nothing to it, Neely.
And not a moment too soon. The boss wants us down in engineering. Like, now.
Edzelar here is voiced by Stephanie Shea. I didn't mention it earlier, but Ermont is voiced by Liam O'Brien. And Calloway by Bumper Robinson. I'm not sure who either of them are, to be honest. So.
Hey Diaz, have you seen a hyperspanner around here? I last saw it near the shuttle, Ptarmigan.
Come on!
I'll let you know.
Melville. Nice. Baffin.
Carter Diaz!
Ptarmigan.
That's not where that goes. Maybe we could figure out where you're supposed to be.
I know where you're supposed to be.
Hurry up!
I'm coming. I'm helping my fellow engineers.
Oh, hey, there it is. You're a lifesaver, Diaz.
Well, I don't know about that, but I try.
Time's a wasting.
I'm sorry. I'm just. Yeah, Carter Diaz is. Who we're playing
Hey,
with.
Diaz, can you give us some help with the transporter?
What's the problem?
We need to test this cargo transporter. I've never been that great with the signal plotting.
I got it. No problem.
Do I have it? Select waypoints to create a path through the ionic interference. The line connecting the points will lose stability if it passes through the interference. The yellow bar indicates the stability of your path. When full, you will succeed. R to aim and hold R. Okay. Alright. Oh, okay. So this isn't too bad then. This isn't as bad as I sort of expected. Perfect.
No sweat. Whoa, whoa, hey, buddy, get off the pad! Don't tell Chovak.
Not a word.
Good work, dude. Good work almost getting yourself beamed into space there, buddy. Just making sure there's no one else to talk to here, nothing else I can do.
Diaz, you're in my light.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, buddy. Alright. You've been patient enough. What's your name again? Edsala. Taking a break there?
Hey, don't let LT catch you blocking the corridors like this.
We'll clear it up once we finish the delicate work. Good looking out, though.
Good to see her fully operational again. And if she breaks, we'll just fix her.
Engineers. Always looking for a chance to fix
Transport
things.
E gives you access to the tubes behind cargo storage all the way to the turbo lift.
Not after the retrofit. Bulkhead cuts it off at Section 2. New computer reroutes.
So then...
I'm thinking we'll have to do the work in that tube. Then take the turbo lift from Section 2 to Section 3.
Well, wait, there's a subfloor crossover around Junction 32E.
What do you have against using the turbo lift?
Nothing, I just like being in the tubes. It's my domain.
Nerd. Makes me think of Rutherford from Lower Decks. Wouldn't be surprised if that's sort of an intentional thing.
Hey, need any help? Okay, good luck.
So yeah, it's this one definitely, like this, I think playing as Carter here will definitely give sort of a lower dex vibe. Which is good, because that show's great.
Engineering.
I heard the new XO just arrived. Won't be long before we get underway. I just hope whatever Chovak called us down for, it's something good. I can never tell with him. I'd rather not end up degaussing plasma manifolds. Hanging upside down makes me queasy.
What's the matter, Nilly? Afraid of a little hard work?
A little hard work? Really? A little? 6 months of putting this ship back together is a lot of hard work.
Yeah, and here we are. Just about ready to go.
Chovak will be voiced by J.P.
Looks like we got here before.
Lieutenant Commander Chovak.
We were just looking for you, Commander.
Petty Officers Ed Solar, Diaz. I was beginning to think you would be late. We are all hands on deck right now, which means if you are not at your post at the appointed time, I do not have someone to replace you. A point I have been forced to make to Petty Officer Edzelar on repeated occasions.
Well, Commander Chovak, isn't it true that if we were almost late, it categorically means that we were not late?
That is correct, Mr. Diaz.
I mean, if anything, Edzelar and I are following the schedule to the letter.
Yes, perhaps I should adjust the schedule accordingly.
Ooh.
So, I don't suppose you wanted us down here to check in before we go off duty?
Equip yourselves in EV suits to work on the exterior of the hull. I need you to tune the structural integrity field for optimal performance. The subspace distortions and ionic interference we are experiencing are preventing the proper calibration. But this ship must be ready to depart shortly, despite the storm. The precise nature of these disturbances are not fully understood. But many systems have been affected by the wide band of emissive activity.
Whatever it throws at us, we'll be ready. We've got the best chief engineer in the fleet.
I am a Vulcan, Mr. Diaz. Flattery is not necessary. All that I require is that you do your job. Right now, that entails critical preparations, because long-range sensors show that these disturbances will be more severe at our destination, the Hotari system. You have your orders. Do not delay.
Yes,
Roger
Commander
that.
Chovak. All hands on deck.
What's that?
All hands on deck. That's what Chovak said. You know what that means? It means
Everyone.
this ship isn't ready to go out and the brass know it. So they're throwing every warm body at it. And they're going to leave on schedule. Consequences be damned.
You gotta have some faith, Nilly. Starfleet Command wouldn't send us out if we weren't ready.
Yeah, they
6
would.
months ago, I probably would have said the same thing. But this isn't just any old refit or any old relaunch.
Oh, whoa.
Excuse me.
She's
A
a
lot
trail,
of new
by the way.
faces coming on board. It's gotta be tough coming as a replacement. That's for sure.
They may not be the same crew we started out with, but they're still Starfleet. They'll know what to do when the time comes.
I prefer the scientific method. Evidence over assumptions. Hold on. Now there's an old face I didn't expect to see again. Hey, Miranda!
You weren't gonna leave without me, were you?
Miranda, you're here?
We thought you were staying on the Adirondack.
Transfer came in at the last minute, so I figured I'd slum it on this bucket of bolts. Looks like you got her back together pretty nicely. I wasn't sure what to expect.
I'm gonna take the high road here, pretend you didn't say that, and welcome you aboard.
He's a better diplomat than I am.
He still owes me a bottle of Saurian brandy. Don't think I forgot.
Miranda felt encouraged by Carter's warm reception when she first arrived aboard the Resolute, holding out hope there might be some chemistry between them. Commander Chovak found Carter to be cheeky and cavalier when he and Edzelar were almost late in main engineering. Fair. Anyway, Miranda, voiced by Abby Trott. Who is also somebody that I have never heard of. I will say, Stephanie Shea, the woman who voices Etzler, she sounds familiar. Oh wow. Okay, she voices Usagi, Sailor Moon, in the Viz Media redub of Sailor Moon, the one that came out like a decade ago. It did come out. This particular like that particular redub came out a good few years ago. I still haven't made my way through it all. Apparently, she did some voice work in episode of Samurai Champloo, which is an amazing show. Though I think I watched the subtitle version of it, so I wouldn't have heard her there. She seems to have done a lot of anime. She's done 2004. Yeah, wow. Yeah, so the Viz dub of Sailor Moon did debut in 2014, so it has been close to a decade. Couple voices in Little Witch Academia, and yeah, like I said, a whole lot of anime. Monster High, she did a couple voices in Monster High. Star Wars Visions, one of the things from that. Only Yesterday. That one I watched. Only Yesterday is a Ghibli film. She voiced the main character in Your Name, or one of the main characters in Your Name. Mitsuha in Your Name, which I have not actually watched myself yet. I think what keeps throwing me off with her, she sounds a lot like Ashley Williams from the Mass Effect series. Like it's just there's something like they've got just weirdly similar voices. So whenever she talks, I just kind of keep hearing that. Anyway, since she's one of those voice actors who's done a lot of really notable work as well. Grazia Bajos seems to have done a fair bit of stuff as well, but she hasn't yet gotten a Wikipedia article about her. Anyway, continuing on.
Oh yeah, it's coming back to me now.
Maybe Carter can rustle up that bottle and we can give you a proper welcome. As soon as we wrap up this quick little spacewalk.
This won't be quick, will it? This is going to be tough.
Here, let me help you.
Thanks.
So what's the word? Are you back in the security rotation?
Yep. Still running with the usual suspects.
Whoa.
Good to go.
Oh yeah, she's definitely interested.
See you on the other side.
Activating magnetic souls.
Pretty sure I won't be able to walk here, or to run here. Nope.
That view never gets old.
Let's go.
Very cool. Yay! Ship name! Ship name being shown. Yay! I like that design of ship at the back there. I don't know, it's a bit different from the usual Starfleet ships. Makes us stand out a little bit in an interesting way.
Captain Solano should be here momentarily. You'll have to forgive me, I don't know much about Kobleods. But my understanding is you need a steady supply of duridium to keep your cell structure stabilized, or bad things start to happen. And we have plenty of duridium in sickbay, so there's no risk of running out.
Thank you.
Feel free to make yourself at home. And help yourself to whatever you like from the replicator.
He's still got a thing for trains. The warp engines of their day, apparently.
I mean, kinda, I guess? Wow, that was weird.
I can't believe he keeps this around. Don't even know where mine is.
Yeah, I don't know where my college diploma is. Yellow cars!
Just a sip of something. Decisions, decisions. Tea.
Rock to Gina would be the more Star Trek option.
That's lovely.
Although tea doesn't... There's like a million kinds of tea.
Jara Rydek. Last time I saw you, it was graduation from the academy. You'd already secured one of the most prestigious assignments possible. And you were burning with enough ambition to fuel 7 trips around the Necrit Expanse.
It's good to see you again, Captain.
Well, I could not be happier to have you on the Resolute. My only regret is that we couldn't provide you with a warmer welcome. The arrival of a first officer to her new ship deserves a bit of fanfare. But, unfortunately, we've had our hands full with the refit.
I have to admit, I was expecting something bigger. At least a marching band or a parade.
We'll see if we can't make up for it somehow. As
Well,
I'm sure
a bit
you've
of humor.
heard, we've had a rough go of it these last 6 months. The ship suffered some damage, but not nearly as much as the crew.
You'll have to forgive me. I don't really know the details.
Starfleet has been kind enough to keep the story contained, probably because they want to protect me. But I don't mind telling you. We were on the verge of a major scientific breakthrough, a quantum leap forward in warp core technology, 10,000 teradynes per second. The ability to travel at a sustained rate of speed longer and faster than we ever dreamed. What would have been the crowning achievement of my career? Right there, within our grasp. Until it all went so horribly wrong. We pushed her too hard, and a warp core malfunction overloaded the system, creating a pressure gradient way beyond what the ship could handle. It was heartbreaking. We lost some of our best people. As captain, I have to take full responsibility. It was my decision to make, and I have to live with the consequences.
We all know the risks when we sign up. There are no guarantees. As much as we tell ourselves otherwise.
True. But as captain, my job is to mitigate and manage the risks as much as possible. And that's where I failed. In my defense, I will say, I might have avoided the whole ordeal if my senior staff had been willing to trust me. There was a lot of pushback from my former XO, and I think that cost me his confidence. I don't want you to pull any punches. Certainly not on my account. But once we decide on a course of action, I need everyone to fully commit to the mission. Anything short of that just won't work. And that's when things start to go sideways.
This is your ship, and you are the captain. So as far as I'm concerned, whatever you say, goes.
That's the kind of support I'm looking for. Look, I'll be blunt. We can't afford another mistake.
As I mentioned here, Captain Solana here is voiced by Jim Meskimen.
Or at least I can't. I feel like my career is hanging in the balance here. We need a win. Something to restore the crew's confidence.
I understand.
On a more positive note, Starfleet has tasked us with what they're calling a mission of the highest priority. Escorting a senior diplomat to Hotari space. Two previously peaceful and otherwise non-aggressive civilizations now find themselves on the brink of all-out war.
So it's a peacekeeping mission.
I see it as a golden opportunity to not only prove what the Resolute and her crew are truly capable of, but also a mission for which we're uniquely qualified. This ionic storm. Our long-range sensors suggest it's several orders of magnitude stronger than anything on record. A total anomaly like nothing we've seen before. And you'll never guess where it leads.
Hatari.
Exactly. Very nearly in the precise location where we're headed. Where I imagine the interference will be exponentially greater. But the diplomat will brief us on the details at the rendezvous.
So basically, we're being sent into the eye of a storm, more powerful than anything on record.
Well, yes. But we're taking every precaution. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I expect we'll have some rough sledding when we arrive, so I need you to prepare the crew for the worst. There's just one more thing I want to clarify up front. The metric that for me will be the ultimate measure of your success.
What is it?
If after serving as my first officer, you don't one day find yourself with a ship of your own, then I will consider it my personal failure. When that might happen is entirely up to you. But it goes without saying, you have my full support.
Thank you. But I feel like I still have so much to learn.
You'll have plenty of opportunity. And if you're willing to put in the work, I'll do everything in my power to help you along the way. Come, let me introduce you to the crew.
Captain Solana was confused by Jarrah's combination of both an odd sense of humor and humility after their first meeting. That indicates that I am maybe being a little bit inconsistent. I love the swoosh doors. Sorry, Captain. Just, want to do a little bit of wandering, see if there's anything for me to look at. Apparently not. Did any of these doors open? Pretty nice bridge. Not bad, not bad.
Everyone, if I could have your attention for a moment. I'd like to introduce Commander Jarrah Rydek, our new first officer. Some quick introductions. This is Lieutenant Handar, our helmsman, one of the best in the business.
Jarrah?
One of?
Well, what he lacks in humility, he more than makes up for in ability.
A pleasure to meet you, Commander.
Likewise.
Next, we have Commander Westbrook, our Chief Science Officer. I've come to rely on his expert counsel on a regular basis.
Pleasure.
Commander
Friendly.
Rydek, it is such an honor to meet you.
This is our tactical officer, Lieutenant Bedrosian, who's been looking forward to meeting you for about as long as I can remember.
I've been following your career for quite some time, and I look forward to learning as much as I can from you.
If anything, the honor is mine.
So Bedrosian. This is the one that I know. She is voiced by Ali Hillis. The woman who voiced Liara to Sony. She also voiced Lightning in Final Fantasy XIII, those games. Valentina in Kid Icarus, so she's Emma Frost in a Marvel anime, X-Men anime. A few other things here and there. She's also done quite a bit of live action stuff. But, yeah. Ali Hillis, the voice of Liara to Sony. Which is cool. And, you know, she gets to speak at a normal volume now. She doesn't have to do that whisper speak anymore.
Well, I have to admit, one of the reasons I've followed your career is because you're part Kobliad, because of what you've overcome. Starfleet stands up for people who can't defend themselves, and you were one of those people once. But since then, you've done so much to protect others who need it. I really admire that. So, you've been something of an inspiration to me. Not that I've done anything close to what you've done, but you definitely set a standard to strive for.
Tempted to say enough about me, but
I don't know what to say. That's incredibly flattering, thank you.
I hope someday I can follow in your footsteps.
I'm sure you will.
And then, of course, you've already met Commander Ermont. Please, do everything you can to make Commander Rydek feel at home here. I'll be on the starbase. I have an urgent meeting with the starbase commander to get our authorization to get underway. If they drag their feet any longer, we won't make our rendezvous. The bridge is yours.
Time to sit in the dick chair. Yeah, let's...
Operations. Staffing, supplies. There's a lot to keep track of on a starship. Good thing we have Commander Ermont.
Okay, that may not have been the best angle for looking at that.
The helm. The Resolute is a refitted Centaur class, meaning it's capable of quick maneuvers. Can't wait to see what she can do.
No idea what she's doing there.
Science station. The Resolute is a science vessel, primarily. Might explain Commander Westbrook's attitude. I'll have to speak with him later. Impressive range of view.
Yeah, that is a big screen. Imagine what that game would be. Imagine what that screen would be like for gaming.
Tactical station. Hopefully a diplomatic mission won't require we use our weapons much. But if it comes to that, we'll be ready.
This is... yeah, that is not... well, yeah, that's not really optimal. She's a little bit... that's a little bit tall for her, I think. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Communications. Keeps us in contact internally and with other vessels.
Not sure how much of this will really be.
Turbolift could take me anywhere on the ship, but I'm right where I need to be.
Yeah, not totally sure how much of this we'll actually need to see and how much is just sort of like flavor text. I imagine a fair bit of it is just flavor text.
So many decks. Full of crew that are now my responsibility.
Any citation ops? Not really seeing any sort of jokey stuff in these blueprints. Yeah. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with Star Trek to the point that I actually got the blueprints for the Enterprise D from the Next Generation, and
the first officer seat. My seat. Right now, though, I need to fill in for Captain Solano.
there should actually be armrests. Like there should actually be controls on that one as well, I think. Anyway, as I was saying, for the blueprints for the Enterprise D, and like on the show as well. So like whenever you'd see like those, whenever they'd show sort of things like that on the show, a lot of times Michael Okuda, the guy who sort of designed it all, would throw in little jokes, because on the show you couldn't see the jokes because it was too small and like the quality wasn't there. Here the quality is very, very high, so I think that's probably why they didn't include any jokes in these schematics. It's why they haven't really done that with sort of the newer Star Trek shows as well. You don't really get the same stuff, same humor, or the same humorous gags thrown in, because viewers would be able to pick up on them. And those jokes were really just for the for Hakuda himself and the people on the set. Activate tactical holo.
Tactical holo dais. Just like they've got on the Excelsior.
Okay. I probably don't need that. And I will start with the next. Figure I'll stop with the next set, the next change of scene, which I imagine will be coming up as soon as I sit down. There doesn't really seem to be a specific save option. I assume it just auto-saves. I hope.
Commander, Chief Engineer Chovak needs to lower the structural integrity field. He's sent a crew out to recalibrate the emitters in response to the danger posed by the storm. We just need your go-ahead.
Permission granted.
Lowering structural integrity field, now.
Entering maintenance mode. Condition blue.
In other words, be careful. Alright. So I assume that I can pause here and sort of pick it up later. So this is the first hour of Star Trek Resurgence. Really eases you in. It does give me the feeling that it's going to be a pretty lengthy game, which is good. Good voice acting. All the performances so far have been solid. Very Star Trek feel to the performances. And I mean that in a positive sense. Should say very, not, well, whatever. Yeah, very Star Trek feel to the performances in a good, and as a compliment. Characters all seem pretty interesting. I do like the way it sort of eases you into everything. Gives you a chance to get a feel for things, and yeah. Very, very early so far, but I am enjoying it for now. And I hope you are too. Not that it matters. I'm going to keep playing the game whether you're enjoying it or not, because I like Star Trek. Yeah. So that will do for this first episode. And I hope to see you for future episodes. And thanks for watching.